Level 1. The deal. You're 29. You watched a man get shot in a parking garage on a Tuesday night. Wrong place. Wrong time. The shooter saw your face. 3 days later, a detective finds you and explains it simply. Testify and disappear. Don't testify and disappear anyway. You sign the documents. A marshal named Briggs walks you through the rules. No contact. No social media. No returning home. No exceptions. You were an accountant in Chicago. Briggs nods. Ordinary is safe. Ordinary keeps you alive. Before he takes your phone, he asks about digital accounts. You list the ones you remember. He wipes the phone clean. You ask if you can keep one photograph. Printed. Physical. Nothing digital. He nods. You scroll through your camera roll one last time. You choose your sister laughing at something off camera. Chicago skyline behind her. Sunlight everywhere. What you don't notice is that the photo was already backed up to a cloud account you made at 22 and haven't thought about since. An account with your real name on it. An account that still exists. Briggs takes the phone. You keep the photograph. It feels like the most important thing you own. It is also the most dangerous. Level 2. The reset. You're 30. 2 a.m. A car with no visible plates. 6 hours of darkness. You wake up in Tucson. New apartment. New name. James Whitfield. Born 1994 in Albuquerque. Parents deceased. No siblings. The marshals drill you for 2 days. Where did you go to high school? What was your first job? The answers have to be automatic. Hesitation gets you noticed. Noticing gets you found. Briggs leaves on day 3. He gives you a number. He says to call if anything feels wrong. Within 6 weeks, you have a routine. Coffee at 7. Work at 8:30. Grocery store on Thursdays. The photograph sits in the inside pocket of your winter coat. You don't display it. You don't look at it often. But you know it's there, the way you know your own heartbeat. What you don't know is that somewhere a server is storing a backup from a phone that no longer exists. A backup with your real name attached. A backup that can be found by anyone who knows where to look. And some people know exactly where to look. Level 3. The ordinary life. You're 32. 2 years in, and James Whitfield is almost real. You know the barista near your office. Your neighbor lends you his ladder. You meet a woman named Dara at a work conference. Funny, direct. You go on 4 dates before the guilt becomes structural. Every good moment is built on fabricated foundations. You keep seeing her anyway because loneliness is its own kind of danger. One evening she reaches for your winter coat hanging by the door. Something cold moves through your chest. You tell her it's too big. You hand her a different jacket. She laughs and doesn't think twice. You stand at the window watching her walk away, thinking about the photograph in the inside pocket and the cloud account you haven't thought about in years. For one moment, the two thoughts connect in a way that makes your hands go cold. Then the moment passes. You tell yourself it's nothing. You are very good at telling yourself that. Level 4. The crack. You're 33. A new marshal named Torres takes over your case. 8-minute quarterly calls. He tells you the threat assessment was downgraded 6 months ago. Key members are serving life. You ask when you were going to be told. A notification letter went to your previous handler who left the program 14 months ago. The letter went to an inactive address. You ask Torres to check for any undeleted digital accounts connected to your previous identity. He says that would have been handled at intake. You ask him to verify. He says he will follow up. He does not follow up. You call Briggs, disconnected, retired 8 months ago. You sit in your apartment that night thinking about a cloud account with your real name on it that has existed untouched for a decade. You think about how easy it would be to find if someone were specifically looking. You do not sleep well. You have not slept well in a long time. Level 5. The breach. You're 34. Torres calls on a Wednesday. Controlled voice. A contractor with database access was arrested 2 weeks ago. Selling location data to organized crime for 18 months. Your file was accessed 7 months ago. You ask why you weren't told immediately. Investigation required confidentiality. Then he says something else. A secondary access point was identified. An old cloud account registered to your previous identity was queried 8 months ago from an IP address connected to known associates. You close your eyes. You think about a phone handed to a marshal in a federal building. A backup that was never deleted because nobody thought to check. Torres is still talking. Protocol. A team dispatched. 4 hours ETA. You are not listening. You are looking at the winter coat hanging by the door. The photograph in the inside pocket. The most important thing you owned. The most dangerous thing you kept. Level 6. The Run. You're 34. 3 hours and 12 minutes before the team arrives, a black SUV parks across the street. Government plates. Then a second vehicle from the opposite direction. Not government plates. 2 men watching your door. You call Torres. Team is 4 minutes out. The 2 men get out of the car. You take the coat. You go out the back through the alley. You map your first week because Briggs taught you to map every exit before you need one. You walk fast. You don't run. Running is visible. The marshals find you 11 minutes later in a laundromat 4 blocks away. You reach into the coat pocket. The photograph is still there. Your sister laughing. Chicago skyline. Sunlight. You look at it for a long time. Then you hand it to Torres. Destroy it. He puts it in his jacket without saying anything. Some mistakes you can't take back. You can only stop carrying them. Level 7. The second life. You're 35. They relocate you again. Different state, different name, different folder. Everything James Whitfield built over 4 years is gone. The accounting firm. The neighbor with the ladder. Dara, who called your phone 6 times after you disappeared and whose voicemails you will never be able to return. You are now Daniel Reyes. Born 1993 in El Paso, the marshals drill you again. The answers have to be automatic. You know how this works. You have done it before. This time, before they hand you the new folder, Torres sits across from you with a checklist. Every digital account connected to your previous identity, every cloud service, every forgotten login, every backup, every trace. You go through it together line by line. It takes 4 hours. You find 3 accounts you had genuinely forgotten. One of them has been dormant since you were 23. You delete everything. Torres watches you do it. When it is finished, he closes the folder and slides the new one across the table. You open it. Daniel Reyes. You pick up the pen. You have been here before. The difference is that this time, you know exactly what it costs, and you know exactly how fragile it is, and you know that ordinary life is not safety. It is patience. You are very good at patience now. Level 8. The cost. You're 41. 6 years into the second relocation. Daniel Reyes is real now, in the way James Whitfield never quite became. You have a job, a routine, a small house with a yard. The quarterly calls come twice a year from voices you stopped learning the names of. Your sister got married 7 years ago. You know because you found the announcement in a search from a library computer. She has 2 children whose names you know, and whose faces you have seen in photographs, and who will never know you exist. Your father had a stroke last year. He recovered. You found that out the same way. You think sometimes about a photograph of your sister laughing in sunlight that you handed to a marshal in a laundromat in Tucson and asked him to destroy. You don't know if he destroyed it. You never asked. Some things you let go completely because the alternative is carrying them forever, and you have carried enough. Level 9. The folder. Somewhere in a federal building right now, a person is sitting across a table from a marshal with a folder. New name, new birthday, new entire life in a document. The marshal is explaining the rules. No contact, no social media, no going back. The person asks if they can keep 1 photograph. The marshal looks at them for a moment, then nods. 1 photograph? Physical, nothing digital. The person scrolls through their camera roll one last time. Thousands of images. They choose 1. They don't notice the location data embedded in the original file. They don't notice the cloud account that backed it up automatically. They fold the photograph carefully and put it in their pocket. It feels like the most important thing they own. The marshal takes the phone. The program has protected thousands of people since 1970. Most of them followed every rule. Most of them were never found. Nearly perfect. Nearly is the word that lives in your chest at night. You did everything right. The photograph did the rest. Some details are too small to notice until they become the only thing that matters.